And we are live
Hey,
on
hey.
YouTube.
Woo.
It's the Padded Room Podcast. There's Monica.
Hi.
That's Buddy. I'm Darian. We're about to talk about Mother in We Hate Monica month. So this is happening. This is happening live.
Yeah.
There we go. Don't mind if I just squeeze behind you. We're gonna do a shot first. Hopefully I don't vomit. This is Monica's 100 proof vodka. So
Yes, I had to put it in this thing.
she had to smuggle it into the country in a sports bottle. This sports bottle has actually been inside her.
Yeah.
Think about that. That's dedication to alcoholism and quality podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting ready to talk about Mother. This movie is a motherfucker.
I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be. Oh, there
There we are.
Yay.
And we are live. Monica's going to be monitoring the comments. If anybody has any wise ass remarks, please feel free to chime in.
Be gentle, please.
Let us have it.
Yeah, give it to us.
Let Darian have it.
Let me have it. I'm dressed like a banker. You don't know this, but this is how I usually dress for the podcast. Bullshit! Bullshit! We're going to do a quick shot, and then we're going to jump right into the feature. Have you guys seen Mother? What'd you think of Mother? It's weird, right? It's a weird show.
No, it's
Not on my
great.
favorite list.
It's not on my favorite list.
I'm going to have to put it on my favorite list
I'm
now.
not-
Thank you, Lance.
I'm not a big fan of movies that launch into their own sequel halfway through the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think the way... Well, we'll get into
Yeah,
that.
we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're gonna mic ourselves up here in a few minutes after we do our shot.
Okay.
And we are gonna record tonight's feature
Mhm.
live with you people. Don't
Yeah.
feel obligated to stay for the whole thing. It's gonna be on YouTube. You can watch it whenever you feel like it.
Well, if you guys are like spending a little time in the bathroom, it's always fun to have your phone and watch.
Go ahead.
Yeah, take us into the bathroom.
Go right ahead. Knock yourselves out. I don't even care. To the Padded Room, her inmates, and the adventures therein.
Yeah.
Yay!
And you too.
And YouTube. Not as smooth this time. But still better than like a Kirkland.
Oh, you know why?
Because of the ice.
Ice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
The ice.
I'm not a fan of warm vodka. Be honest with you. Oh. Buddy, could you hand me my headphones, please?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I need my headphones too.
In case anybody's wondering, this is the Padded Room. This is where all the magic happens.
Oh,
Oh, I'm gonna have to come closer.
yeah.
Yeah, come closer, back.
I go under.
I can't reach.
No?
No.
Oh. Okay, so
Alright.
let's switch. Here, you take mine.
Okay.
And I'll take yours.
All right.
Oh,
Here's
I
that one.
Do you want
can't
them
You
reach.
can't reach either?
No.
Okay. We're off to a wonderful start.
So I'm gonna have to come
Oh yeah. I
closer.
don't reach very well either.
You know what? Fuck 'em. Who needs headphones?
That's right.
Oh,
I can see using Audacity what if we sound good or not. All right, here we go. I'm going to start recording, and then mics are on. Yes.
Yep, they're on.
Check.
Yellow.
Yo, yo, yo. Yep, we're good.
I'm just gonna give this a twister rooney.
Monica, say something on yours.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
We're ready.
Hello. Hi. 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 Dude, I'm telling you, these things are hitting me. Are you guys not
Really?
feeling? You're not feeling the vodka at all.
No.
No.
I didn't eat enough today, or
I
something.
was just gonna ask how much.
Not enough, apparently. All right, we are recording now. Yes,
Recording more ways than one.
we are live on YouTube, inmates. I hope you're with us. I hope I don't look like a used car salesman. I probably do. That's okay. I'm okay with looking like I should be giving you tonight's specials at Harris
that's
Steakhouse, right?
Padded Room Podcast Pimp.
Ooh, I need a bigger hat if I'm gonna go that
Oh
route.
yeah. One with feathers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we are talking about Mother from 2017. This is Mother with an exclamation point. That's how you know that we're not fucking around. So it's not Mother, it's Mother! Mother! Alan Cha-Cha.
Are you sure?
That's what it is. That's what the name of the movie. There's an exclamation, an unnecessary exclamation point at the end of Mother,
Okay.
which is going to tell you right off the bat that we're in for a douchey ride.
No, we're not.
I'm interested to hear you defend this movie.
Okay.
So our movie begins with, well, I should tell you that we are starring Jennifer Lawrence, Javier Bardem, and Ed Harris. This one's written and directed by Darren Aronofsky. You'll recognize this dude. What are we talking about? Requiem for a Dream.
Yep.
What else? Oh, The Wrestler was a pretty good show.
Oh, yeah.
Right. A Pie, which I am not smart enough to understand. You guys seen Pie?
Pie?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
P.I.
Yeah.
Like the mathematical pie. I've seen other kinds of pie in my days. I've seen apple pie,
Hey-o!
blueberry pie.
I thought you meant The Life of Pi.
That is about a tiger on a boat.
Yes, I know.
Which-
Not that
I
one.
saw that one.
You would think that would be a horror movie, right?
No,
It's got a fucking
It should be.
it was a sad movie.
It's got a tiger on
Yeah,
a boat
tiger on a boat.
with a
They
12-year-old kid.
survived. They
No-
were taking
oh.
care of each other.
Yeah, it should have been taken care of. The kid being eaten by the tiger. That's the end of the story.
Right?
All right. Anyway, so we start off with a. We start off in Silent Hill. Really, is what we do because we're in this house and it's been burnt to shit. And then Javier Bardem walks in with a crystal thing, and as soon as he puts it back in the little crystal holder, the house just magically sprouts back to life, and everything is picturesque and perfect. All the way
And the
up,
outside.
and the outside too, and
Yeah.
even like the area around the outside.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm like, this is Silent Hill backwards in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so from there we go upstairs where we meet his, presumably his wife, Jennifer Lawrence. She is wearing a very slinky, sexy little nightgown operation. You can see right
Yeah.
through it.
Oh, yeah.
You can see right through it. You want to see her nipple? You want to know what Jennifer Lawrence's nipples look like? Watch Mother, but you only need like the first 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Well, you're going to see him again later, but that's not.
Yeah.
I almost couldn't beat off to the last part
Right.
because it was weird and violent, and Monica apparently could beat off to the last part. So she's good. She's I don't know. She's whatever you're into.
I was just thinking you can see a lot more of Jennifer on certain websites out there.
Yeah, but you never know if that's real. You know.
Oh, you know it's her.
You're better off going to Mr. Skin, right?
That's where you want to go. Is there naked Jennifer Lawrence out there in a movie? Which movie?
No, on Pornhub.
Yeah, no, but that's photoshopped horseshit.
No.
Yeah, dude, it's fake as
Those
shit.
are
They-
the pictures that she took naked of herself and sent them to somebody that
Oh, the
leaked
ones that,
out.
the ones that got like hacked.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's not. Yeah.
You could tell some of those are fucking fake. Anyway, so we cut upstairs to Jennifer Lawrence. She is waking up. She's in her slinky little negligee, and she's walking around looking for her husband. Now, funny thing about this movie, none of these characters actually have names.
Right.
We're dealing with him, her, guests, guest kids, and we'll get into all that shit later. So she's walking around barefoot trying to find him. He's outside. Now we're going to meet these two. We're going to find out that he is a poet. A poet. And he's making a living writing poetry. All right, anyway. She apparently is madly in love with this dude. Javier Bardem. Monica, what do you think?
Gross.
Gross?
I agree.
Okay, you're full of shit because you
He's
said
married
before
to Penelope Cruz.
I would be married to Penelope Cruz
Oh
in a second.
my! They are perfect for each other.
You told me before that you would have sex with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, but you would not have sex with.
Oh, Negan is totally different.
They're the same person.
No,
They are the same
they
person.
are not the same person.
Buddy,
Jeffrey
they're
Dean
the same-
Morgan is a nice-looking guy.
Jeffrey P. Morgan.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
He's the
is a
same.
nice
This is
looking guy.
dude. It's
No.
no.
No, it's night and day.
Dude,
Yeah,
you
then
guys are
Javier's
insane.
got like this bulldog look. Sorry, jawline.
Dude, they are. I'm telling you, they're like the same person. Yeah, I don't know about
I
that.
agree with Monica on this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that. You know, he was going to be Frankenstein in the Dark Universe, which you both shat
Probably
on.
wouldn't need any makeup.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. Now you're just being rude. Now you're just being rude. All right, so they hook up. We do get.
Brianna said hi.
Hi, Brianna.
Hi, Barlow.
Brianna or Barlow?
Brianna's on here too, and Barlow.
What's up, JB?
Barlow!
All right. So they hook up in the entryway and everything's cool. Apparently this guy hasn't actually written anything in quite some time. That's a bone of contention because her or she is restoring this entire house by herself. That's pretty badass for a chick, especially looking like that. That's like mad
Yeah.
carpentry skills and hauling lumber and measuring angles. I couldn't do any of that, I'll tell you right now. I would attempt it, and then I would make it through one afternoon, and then I'd be like, I'm not fucking doing this. I'm gonna go play some PS4, and we're gonna call somebody
Yep.
and pay them because this house is gonna fall down if I continue. Anyway, that's pretty cool. That's like a dedicated wife. He's making, or at least made, a lot of money. So all is well and good. This house is really secluded. And we're going to get more into that in a second, but pretty soon that night there's a knock on the door, which is completely out of character because, like I said, this house is completely secluded. Knock on the door, they're both like, what the fuck, who's at the door? So they go down and answer it. Who's out there but Ed Harris? Now again, none of these characters have names, so we're just going to call him Ed Harris from now on.
Yeah.
The doctor.
The doctor.
The doctor,
Sure.
The doctor.
Yeah, the doctor. So he comes in. He lays on a rap about how he's kind of lost at first and he doesn't know where he's going and he has no direction and he thought this house was a bed and breakfast, as it could be because it's actually a pretty big house.
Yeah.
But they take him in, and I get the feeling that these guys don't get a lot of visitors. So
Right.
Javier Bardem is like, "Oh my God, yes, come in, please, hang out, stay with us. You know, we'll make you a dinner or whatever you want." Right off the bat, I got like a weird kind of "I'm here for ulterior motives" vibe from Ed Harris. You guys get that at all?
Yes.
too.
Because he walks in and he immediately lights up a cigarette.
How rude!
That's fucked up, man.
Whatever.
That was pretty messed up.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. You're used to your own lifestyle and you're a smoker. I understand that, but you don't walk into a stranger's house and immediately light up a cigarette, right?
Yeah,
No.
be respectful.
Yeah, dude. I mean, come on, it's 2018. You're not even allowed to smoke in shopping malls anymore. So get the fuck out of here. He's also got like a wicked smoker's hack, which is pretty gnarly. They take him in, they show him around. He kind of recognizes Javier Bardem as this famous poet. And he's like, "Oh my God, I'm such a big fan." So Javier takes him upstairs to his study, where nobody else is allowed usually, and shows him the crystal. Now, we get a little backstory on this crystal, and I'm a little shady on what the fuck is going on with this thing. Apparently, so the backstory of these two is that the house burnt down previously. Jennifer Lawrence is restoring it all by hand, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But I believe he said something to the effect that the crystal was forged from the ash of the previous house, and thus is very special to him. Nobody's allowed to touch it or look at it, but he wanted to show it to Ed Harris anyway, so that's pretty cool.
Right.
Ed Harris looks at it, he's like, "Whoa, that is so cool." And then he's like, "Okay, I don't want to impose. I'm going to get the fuck out of here." But then they're like, "No, where are you going to go? Come on, just stay with us." That shot is hitting me right now. I don't know how it's not hitting you guys.
Really?
Yes.
Buddy, we need another one.
Right?
What the hell?
Hey, knock yourselves out. Should I pour you one?
Why not?
Yeah, why
Yeah,
not?
let's do it. I don't know if I should have one. Somebody's going to have to carry me out of here. There's one for Monica. If anybody's watching and they have access to alcohol, now would be a good time to pour
Yeah.
some.
Have a
Yeah,
shot
take a
with
shot with
us.
us.
So let's do a shot. I probably shouldn't, but fuck it. We're live. Who gives a shit? To Javier Bardem, Jeffrey
Yes.
Dean Morgan, who have not been seen in the same place at the same time.
Right?
I'm just going to put that out there.
Whatever.
Love you guys. Oh. These are getting progressively worse. Oh, God.
With mint gum it is.
I felt all 100 proof of that. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna start slurring very soon, if I'm not already.
Not yet.
We'll fill in the pieces.
Yeah, just fucking whatever. Well, I'll be slumped over and somebody can carry me out of here. Okay. So he's like, no, just stay with us. Spend the night. It'll be great. So reluctantly, Ed Harris agrees. And this is where things get weird because he agrees. Jennifer Lawrence goes on about, getting him ready for bed, setting up a place for him to sleep and everything. And as she's doing that, she hears that nasty cougher's hack going on, which
That's terrible.
evolves into like a full-on vomit.
Yeah.
So she goes and pokes her head in the bathroom where he is, and he's like, dude, he's like half naked all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's got like a bunch of weird sores on him.
Mm-hmm.
Javier Bardem is like helping him to throw up.
Mhm.
He doesn't have to hold his hair back, obviously. He's fucking bald.
And he has a big scar on the side.
Right on his side there,
Yeah.
which is going to come into play later.
Yes.
And if you know where we're going, then this will make sense. But if you don't know where we're going, then you're going to be like,
What the hell?
what the? Who gives a shit? Anyway, all right. So that's interesting. What's his name there? Javier Bardem's like, hey, just get out of here. He's going to be fine. Just go to sleep. So she goes to sleep. Wake up the next morning to another knock on the door. Jesus Christ! This place just turned into Grand Central Station.
Yeah.
Go down there, open the door. It's a pretty milfy blonde, played by Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer still looks the same.
I would still have sex with, by the way.
She's pretty hot.
She is not.
She walked
too
in
bad.
like, holy shit, didn't look like she aged.
She aged. Yeah, she aged. What do you think, Monica? Michelle Pfeiffer?
Yeah. I can't forget her in Scarface.
That's
how I
oh,
will
yeah,
always
that's-
see her.
I will. She'll always be Catwoman to me.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, okay.
Catwoman, Witches of Eastwick. I think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's like prime time for Michelle Pfeiffer.
Mm-hmm.
You start getting past that to like a Dark Shadows. Still not bad, but
No, she's aged very well.
she's aged
Yeah,
very well.
Definitely.
Unfortunately, she plays like a very like an Orange County housewifey kind of a bitch bag, all into everybody's business.
Yeah.
No room for pleasantries or subtleties or even being nice for that matter. Alcoholic, which you'd expect from one of the housewives of Orange County.
Mm-hmm.
So Jennifer Lawrence lets her in, and immediately here comes Ed Harris. Oh, it's my better half. I called her last night. They start having like a makeout session right there in the entryway, like almost to the point of having sex.
Yeah.
Like I'm all for kissing my wife when I see her, but I'm not gonna be like all
In a stranger's house.
with the moaning and all that. You don't. Come on, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
Rubbing
Hey.
it in.
Hey, yeah, we get it.
You're in love.
Congratulations. You're gonna have sex later. Let's not do it right here,
You
though.
guys are rabbits.
Hey, easy. You're like in your 60s. You've discovered Viagra. Congratulations on that. Okay, so they let her in. As I mentioned, she's kind of a bitch bag, so she just immediately starts exploring the house on her own. Now, bear in mind, as I mentioned, Jennifer Lawrence has restored this entire house by herself. Needless to say, she's a little attached to the place,
Yeah.
wants to keep the place nice, and is still in the process of restoring it. Now, what she wants to do is bring it back to the exact state that it was in before it burned down on Javier Bardem. A hell of an endeavor, especially for a young lady doing it all by herself. So she is like, okay, well, his wife is here to pick him up, I guess, so that's great. Maybe they'll get the fuck out of here and we can resume our lives. She sets about, painting and retexturing walls and doing all the carpentry that comes with that kind of an endeavor. And pretty soon, here comes, there goes Javier Bardem and Ed Harris. They're like, hey, we're going for a hike, and we're having a great time. Did we just become best friends?
I know.
Let's
What just happened?
And who just goes, we're going to go for a hike?
Yeah.
Really?
One of you guys is setting the other guy up for a murder. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Nobody goes for a hike, and they're dressed like in winter clothes, too.
Yeah.
Who the fuck goes hiking in the middle of the winter?
These guys.
These two clowns.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get into this at the end of the movie. All right, so that's weird, and now it's awkward because poor Jennifer Lawrence is left in the house all by herself with
With the crazy
the
lady.
queen bitch, Michelle Pfeiffer. I would take issue with that.
Yeah, she
And-
tried.
I'm going to tell you right now, inmates, this entire movie is basically a version of what happens here at my house when my sister-in-law shows up. I'm not kidding. She shows up by herself and everybody's having a great time, and then she gets a text message, and then 7 more people show up, and then they all get text messages, and then 14 people show up,
Oh.
and then I'm like, I'm going for a fucking run, honey, and I have to leave the house. That's what happens. Not that I'm
For
bitter.
hours.
I will run 23 miles. if
That's
I
right.
have to.
Oh, look at that! I got a marathon to run.
Oh, look at that! I gotta go. See ya. Anyway, what happens from here is we get like a very awkward conversation between Michelle Pfeiffer and Jennifer Lawrence. She basically puts her on the spot in regards to whether or not she wants to have kids. It was kind of breached earlier a little bit with Javier Bardem. He says yes, of course he wants to have kids, and Jennifer Lawrence is like, well, it's not really the right time, you know, you should probably write something, and I'm fixing up the house. And you can tell she's beating around the bush with something, because the bottom line is that they're not really having sex anymore. And that is a bit of an issue in the marriage.
Yeah, or at all.
Or at all.
That's what happens when you marry an older man.
Yeah, 21 year difference
Yeah.
between Javier Bardem and Jennifer Lawrence.
It's not about an older man. It's just that
Dude.
giant gap.
If Ed Harris can get it up for Michelle Pfeiffer, I will find a way to bang the shit out of Jennifer Lawrence. I don't know how. I'll break out a table leg on her or
How do
something.
you think Hugh Hefner did?
He found a way.
That's right.
MacGyvered some shit. I don't know. Anyway, so what happens from here is she's being a real bitch, and I guess first thing that happens is she shows up with lemonade, laced with alcohol. Jennifer Lawrence is in the throes of trying to restore something, and she's like, "Woo, hey, whoa." Did Miss Monica just show up with a sports bottle? Because this lemonade is kicking.
That's the kind of lemonade I have.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah. Michelle Pfeiffer's like, do you have any painkillers?
Yeah.
Monica. Let's go through Monica's purse, see what we can find.
I only have Flexerol.
Alrighty then.
Okay.
Okay. That has also probably been in cider. So that gets weird and uncomfortable. And she's like, well, we're just going to do some laundry and then we'll get out of your precious fucking house. So they go downstairs to the basement. The basement was badass.
Yeah, it
in
was.
This place. It's like a full-on underground auditorium. I think the basement by itself was probably bigger than the house.
Yeah.
So yeah, right?
It's huge.
So they go down there. That's where all the washing machine, dryer, all that stuff is. They start with the laundry. It's great. They go back upstairs. Michelle Pfeiffer is now on the brink of being hammered, so she's like, I'm just gonna lie down. She goes wandering off by herself. Jennifer Lawrence is like, God damn it, to fucking stay in one room? I don't want my house jacked off by you. So she's trying to follow her around. She ends up going upstairs to the bathroom that Michelle Pfeiffer was using and finds a sports bag that's got a bunch of crap in it and a bunch of pictures of Javier Bardem. So that's pretty weird. She's like, oh, what the fuck is this? What are these people, stalkers? About this time, Javier Bardem and Ed Harris show back up. And she's like, dude, she calls her husband. She's like, dude, they got about a bunch of pictures of you. I think they're crazed fans. So we should probably get them the fuck out of here, you think? And he's like, no. He told me everything. He set this whole thing up. He is a huge fan and he's kind of crazy, but he's also dying. So we're going to just kind of hang out with him, fulfill his last wish. So just play it cool. They're going to be out of here in a little while and everything's going to be cool. She's like, oh, fuck. All right. That's what you want to do. It's fine. Now there's another knock on the door. Here comes the party bus. This is one of their kids. Now this guy is, what do you think? Probably mid-20s? Sound fair?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mid-late.
mid-20s. And he is a doucher. You can tell he's a doucher because he's not in the house 15 seconds before he starts hitting on Jennifer Lawrence. He's like, hey, how's it going? I'm enjoying the view from back here. She's like, yeah, great. Who are you? Number one. Number two, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, my parents are here. So she lets him in. He comes in. He gives his mom a big hug. She's halfway in the bag, kind of like me. Big hug, and then he immediately starts into this tirade about how somebody found something. Huge deal, a lot of drama, a lot of yelling going on. He was crazy. He was out of control. I didn't know what to do, so I came here. I had to track you down here, and I don't know what's happening. He's going to be here in a second. Now there's another knock on the door. What the fuck?
Yeah, what the hell is going on?
I don't know what they paid for that house, but I imagine it was a very large sum of money.
Yeah.
And I think the reason for that large sum of money was to get away from everybody else.
Right.
And that whole idea has just been defeated because all of a sudden their house has been turned into Grand Central Station.
Mm-hmm.
Not really, but just because of this one family. So here comes another asshole, and he comes in and he starts fighting with his brother. We're going to find out these two are brothers, actually. And he's like, Dad, what the fuck? You wrote me out of the will, and there's a clause that says that I can't have any money. And these two are going back and forth, and Mom is trying to, like, jump between them. And it gets physical for a second, but then Javier Bardem steps in. He's a big dude.
Yeah, he is.
And he, like, grabs the asshole brother and shoves him up against the wall. And he's like, hey, calm your fucking ass down. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but you need to just calm it down for a second, and we will figure this out, okay? And then Ed Harris kind of approaches from the side, and he's like, yeah, just calm down. And then the asshole brother punches Ed Harris, which sends him into, like, smoker's hack shock or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. He, like, slumps over and starts coughing up blood. And then the two brothers get back into it. They start tussling in the kitchen. And really, the real victim in this movie is the furniture in Jennifer Lawrence's house. Because it takes the worst beating out of anybody ever. And there are some savage beatings coming in this movie.
Chair flying.
Chair gets smashed. All kinds of bric-a-brac get fucking tossed. Yeah, I said bric-a-brac. Yeah, bric-a-brac. Tell me I'm hammered, buddy. I don't care. Yeah, write that down.
Bric-a-brac.
Bric-a-brac. All kinds of nostalgia gets smashed. All kinds of things get just torn to shreds. So this tussle kind of carries from room to room. Douchey brother kind of jumps on top of asshole brother, gives him a little ground and pound, spits in his face. Asshole brother flips the script, puts a little ground and pound on douchey brother, who gets up and tries to run away. Asshole brother chases him, picks up bric-a-brac, and smashes him in the head with it. Douchey brother goes down. Asshole brother jumps on top of him, starts screaming. Nasty head wound, bleeding out from the head. It's disgusting. It's blood all over the place. You can see Jennifer Lawrence is chasing him. She's like, God damn it, with the fucking house, can you go outside or something? No, they can't. They're assholes, and they're after money. So it's disgusting. Needless to say, douchey brother gets killed on the spot. Asshole brother goes hauling ass outside because he doesn't want to be caught by the authorities or mom and dad or anybody. Good news, Dad is a doctor. Bad news, they can't get him to a hospital in time to save douchey brother.
Right.
Now, if you're paying attention, you'll notice something in this scene. They take douchey brother outside, and they're like, we have to get him to a hospital right now. They just kind of like bundle him up, take him outside, and then they all just disappear. There's no roads going to or from the house. There's no motor vehicles anywhere in this movie. Something to think about. So now Jennifer Lawrence is kind of freaking out because asshole brother is out there somewhere in the cosmos. And she's now all alone in the house because Javier Bardem went with Michelle Pfeiffer and Ed Harris to take the kid to the hospital. So we get some nervous kind of little very Strangers-esque sequences where she's kind of walking around the house and some weird things are happening. Sounds are coming from different rooms where there shouldn't be anybody, things of that nature. Now, this house is very strange in that it appears to have a heart and lungs.
Yeah, when she touches the wall.
Yeah, and like there's like a particular place in the floorboards where the blood from douchey brother went like seeping through, and now it kind of opened up this weird vagina-esque thing. It's like the blood kind of washed away some of the woodwork, and now there's like a gaping hole that they can put their fingers through. It's weird, right? Did it look like a vagina?
It did.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, just making sure. I'm sure there's some kind of metaphorical something happening there that I'm too stupid to understand. But she starts putting her fingers through the weird blood vagina there, looks through down to the basement and sees that the blood is seeping into the basement. So she goes down to the basement. She's like, fuck, I gotta clean this up now. These fucking assholes can't kill each other in the lawn or out in the woods somewhere. They have to do it in my goddamn guest room. So she goes down there and the blood has formed a very peculiar pattern on the wall. So she starts looking at that. She drops a digit on that piece of the wall, which of course breaks into a breakaway wall, goes poking around in there and finds a very out of place oil tank, I guess.
Yeah.
This is like a weird
wall,
yeah. So basically what we're getting at here is that there's a false wall in the basement, which is concealing a, I don't know that there's a purpose for it, but there's a giant oil tank on the other side of the wall.
I think it's for the fireplace. I think it was like around there, so it's like all linked together.
Okay, sure,
Yeah.
I'll buy that. But why would there need to be a false wall there?
I know somebody was hiding something.
Somebody's hiding things in this fucking house, is what it is, Monica.
I know.
It's what it is. It's Negan, and that's what he's hiding the fact that he's actually Negan, and they're the same person, is what it is.
Oh, there's the
I knew it.
plot twist right there.
I knew it the whole time. That's why Andrew Lincoln's leaving the show. Can't handle it. I can't handle it either. So that's pretty gnarly. From there, the family comes back. Ed Harris and Michelle Pfeiffer. We find out that Douchey Brother died, and Javier Bardem gave them the okay to invite some family and friends over. Now, bear in mind, we are under 24 hours here in the scope of this story. All of a sudden, the doorbell's ringing nonstop, and fucking douchers are showing up to pay their respects to this family.
Yeah.
So they all come in, and they just keep coming and coming and coming. The good news is they brought food. The bad news is that they don't give a fuck about this house or anybody in it. So we get a very colloquial kind of a everybody is going to say a few words about the dead brother, even though most of the people never met him or knew him for the 6 minutes that he was in the house. And Javier Bardem gives a very eloquent speech about, oh, Jesus Christ, there's a voice in the darkness, and he's crying out, and that is the voice of humanity, and blah, 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 blah. Who gives a fuck? But it's very moving to everybody involved. So
I got the feeling that everybody in there was like friends, family. It was like they all just showed up just for that.
well, yeah, I think that was the point. But I got a good feeling that, like, 99% of the people there didn't know anybody. They just saw a big crowd and followed them. You know what I mean?
I felt like, because didn't you notice some of the people that showed up, they knew exactly where to go in the house?
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like, oh, these people know this house. They've
Oh, yeah.
been there before.
Oh, yeah.
Sure they have.
So Jennifer Lawrence is like, God damn it, there's fucking 300 people in my
I
house.
just want to be alone with my
Just,
husband.
I'm trying to keep the goddamn place clean. You people are fucking everything up, making messes everywhere, and
Destroying everything.
just get the fuck out of here.
Yes.
So, needless to say, the people keep coming. There's a big party all of a sudden, and it went from a very somber, funeral-esque situation to a full-on party where people are having a
yeah.
great time.
Yeah.
Music and
And
everything.
her bedroom,
Oh
too.
yeah, all over the
Yeah.
place. They're having sex with each other. Certain other people are like, "Hey, we're gonna help you fix the house. Let me just throw a coat of paint on this thing." All of a sudden, she's like, "God damn it, stop!" Now, there's one particular portion of this sequence that needs to be mentioned, and that's the I guess the kitchen sink. She keeps telling people not to sit on the counter in the kitchen
Yeah.
sink. People keep doing it. She's
Oh,
like,
what, this counter?
"Get off the fucking counter! I just
Yeah.
restored that." And then she turns around and there's more people sitting on the counter. She's like, "Get off the fucking counter! It's not a weight-bearing, structure. It's gonna break if you keep fucking around on it." And people keep sitting on the counter. Eventually, they start like bouncing up and down on it. They're like, "Oh yeah, this is great! No, look!" And then they end up ripping all the piping out of the wall and causing a massive flood that goes all through the house.
And the sprinkler system.
Sprinklers come on, big mess, huge fucking kerfuffle. Everybody has to leave. If that was my house, I would have been up there hitting the goddamn pipes with a hammer trying to get everybody out of there. Okay, so that's interesting. It's something to note. Now, right about now is when the movie launches into its very own sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mother Part 2 coming at us. Fast and Furious. Everybody gets out of the house. Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem kind of have this snippy little argument in the entryway. She's like, who the fuck are these people? And he gives her this long speech about how we need new life in the house and inspiration, and I'm going to start writing very soon. And more or less, she's like, you're talking about having kids. How are we going to have kids when you can't even fuck me?
Yeah.
Exact words.
You
I didn't
can't
make
even
that up.
Fuck me.
That's what she said.
You can't even fuck me.
That's what she said.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. So then they kind of have sex on the stairwell, which is very hot.
Boom.
We don't get to see anything here, unfortunately. But Jennifer Lawrence wakes up the next morning and announces loud and proud, "Hey, I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
I can feel it because I looked at the sun through the window and I felt my chest and I know that I'm pregnant." That's not how that actually works, boys and girls.
And her nipples are hard.
Normally you have to pee on a thing that you buy at the dollar store and then it gives you a plus or a minus and then that's how you know you're pregnant or not. So she's like, "Hey, I'm pregnant." And then Javier Bardem is all excited. "Oh my God, you're pregnant." And he starts writing again and then everything is amazing for a second or two.
Yeah, he runs down the stairs naked
Yeah.
and starts writing.
Tell me we were not all hot and bothered.
No.
Oh, do you think that was really his ass crack or no?
I don't.
Stunt ass?
It doesn't matter to me.
Oh.
I would rather have sex with Ed Harris, honestly.
Wow!
What the what? He's throwing up in the bathroom. He's got a weird wound on his side, for Christ's sakes, Monica.
I'm just saying
And he's
in
like
real
5 foot.
in real life.
He doesn't even have hair on his head. Get the fuck out of here, Eddie Harris.
He has this voice that is I like Ed
He was
Harris.
great in Westworld. Did
Yeah.
you see Westworld?
No, I have not.
Cowboy
seen that show.
in black. Evil son of a bitch. You're gonna love that. All right. Anyway, yeah. So from there, we're gonna cut to I guess 9 months exactly into the future, where Jennifer Lawrence is full on pregnant.
Yeah. About to pop.
Javier Bardem comes running downstairs and he's like, "It's finished. I finished my poem," and he hands it to Jennifer Lawrence to read. She reads it, and apparently it affects her somehow because we go into this weird dream sequence. When she comes back, she's like, you got a tear running down her face. "Your poetry is so moving." Oh. And then before she can finish talking to him, the phone rings, and it's his publicist. And apparently he sent this to his publicist first.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
It kind
apparently...
of upset her.
Yeah,
It
I'd be
was
pissed
really,
too.
yeah.
I just finished it. Here, read it. Oh, well,
Oh.
you already turned it in?
All right.
Okay.
Fucko. Well, don't act like it's a big deal then. Be like, "Hey, what do you think of that? I already sent
You're
it to
the second
yeah.
person
you
now.
I had it
Right.
proofread, but whatever. Anyway.
I didn't really care what you thought of this. I
Yeah,
turned it in.
just here it is. I don't know, use it as a coaster or something. So she gets that, and then she's like, "Oh my God, okay, all right, well, we need to celebrate. I'm 9 months pregnant, I'm gonna have a baby any minute now, it's gonna be beautiful. You just wrote a poem, and it's beautiful also, and things are looking great for us here in the restored farmhouse."
Bing bong.
So everything's great. She's like, "I'm gonna make a great dinner tonight. It's awesome." She goes about, what is it, a meat pie or some shit?
Yeah.
Some kind of a pie situation. Maybe that's a throwback to
Shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's pie.
I was gonna say Aronofsky's first movie, Pie, which is about math. That actually has nothing to do with anything now that I hear the words coming out of my mouth.
It's
So-
shepherd's pie.
I can't look. Let me tell you something, inmates. I can't actually edit this, so I can edit the podcast. This, you get what you get. I'm sorry. Anyway, regardless, that has nothing to do with anything.
I haven't had a shepherd's pie in a long time.
That sounds amazing.
It
doesn't it?
does,
You know how
yeah.
terrible those are for you? That's nothing but carbs and disgusting fat.
So it's great for right before a run.
Really?
If
I
you-
thought it was like meat.
It's
with-
meat in a pie.
No, but
No.
it's mashed potatoes on top.
Yeah.
You know how carb heavy mashed potatoes are?
No, I don't.
It's disgusting. Yeah, there's nothing but carbs right
I
there.
only eat that like
It
once
sounds
a year.
delicious.
That's all you need. That sounds amazing though.
Yeah.
I would love a
But
shepherd's
potatoes
pie.
are good for you.
They are if you're going to run 8 miles the next day.
Right.
Otherwise, they're just going to sit in your gut and turn into a big fat
Oh.
bloated
Okay,
mass
don't
of
eat potatoes,
fucking
people.
pudding. that you're gonna have to poop out at some point.
And I like tater tarts.
Tater tarts?
Tater tarts.
Tater
Is
tots.
that something you put in a toaster, like a Pop-Tart?
Stop it, buddy.
I give them out on Halloween. Tater tarts? Here.
Here's your tater
Trick or
tart. treat.
treat, tater tarts. That's why I don't get a lot of trick or treaters, probably. Tater tarts. There you go. All right, back to the movie. So, pretty soon here comes the nonsense. I mean, everything is cool for a second or two, and then they get to that night. She's got this beautiful dinner set up for him. Dinner's just about ready. Pretty soon there's a knock on the door. Oh, fuck, these assholes again. So she goes and looks outside. She's like, what? There's an old guy, like, at her side window, just creepily peering in. She's like, who the fuck is this guy? She looks through the front door, and she sees there's, like, a little crowd, probably 10, 15 people, outside their front porch. Cameras flashing, people wanting things signed, and all that shit. She goes walking around to the front door, and Javier Bardem is there, and he's like, oh my god, these are my fans. They came so far, I just want to make them happy. I'm going to sign some books and copies and stuff. I'll be in a second. Go back on in, and we'll sort it all out. Now, if you guys are paying attention, you'll recognize a guy from this particular scene. Did you guys recognize his business manager?
Yeah.
The bald guy.
Yeah, he was in, all I can think of is the Japanese guy's name was Hiro. Heroes? He was in Heroes.
He might have been. I never watched that
He was
show.
like one of the evil villains. In
He
one of the
was in
seasons.
a movie that GP and I used to argue about nonstop. Canadian zombie movie takes place.
Wasn't it Pontypool?
It was Pontypool.
Pontypool. Yeah.
That is Stephen McCaddy.
You threw me off. You're like heroes. I'm like, I thought it was the white guy, Japanese guy.
Yeah.
He played a villain.
All right.
Oh, okay.
He's been in a lot of horror movies, actually. Stephen McCaddy is there, and he's like his business manager, and he's like kind of shepherding these people towards him and getting their autographs signed and everything. Everything's cool for a minute or two. So he's like, okay, just everything's cool. You want to sign some autographs? Go back inside, get dinner ready. I'll be in a few minutes. Pretty soon the crowd starts to grow, and she's like, oh fucking god damn it. So she goes around to get the pie, and there's like a mom leading her son through the house. She's like, what are you doing in my house? And the mom's like, my son's gonna piss his pants if we don't. And then the kid pisses his pants. And she's like, oh god, I'm sorry. All right, bathroom is downstairs. So she leads him downstairs, and there's another guy already in the bathroom. It's like, who the fuck are you? He's like, hey, how about a little privacy here? And she's like, what the fuck is this? So they go outside, and there's a line to use the bathroom going all the way up the stairs and outside the house.
Yeah, one guy's pissing in the sink.
Yeah, she's like, what is this shit? All these people coming in here. So she's rightfully pissed, as she should be. And she's like, oh, for fuck's sake. She's going upstairs to try to find her husband. Right about now is when shit really starts to hit the fan, because she's looking for her husband. First thing that she comes across as she's going upstairs is an old lady stealing copies of the poem and like weird bric-a-brac from the house. Like just stuffing them in her purse, and she's like, hey, get back here with that. So she follows the old lady, and the old lady's like, no, I need it. I need something that he touched. She's like, that's not yours, bitch. So you're gonna do a little tussle, and now all of a sudden everybody is stealing shit. And by shit, I don't mean like weird random possessions. I mean like ripping drywall out of the wall, sink faucets. There's like weird chanting going on in the kitchen, and people are like, it's the purge. The purge is happening right here in our guest room.
Pretty much.
It's full on riot is what's happening, and people are just destroying her fucking house. And she's like, what the fuck? What is this shit? At one point, she gets grabbed and pulled into a side room, and she's held up by like some weird Eastern Europeans who start inspecting her teeth. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. There's people having sex with each
the
other.
whole horse thing.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it
Did
must
we
be.
go back to Rape Revenge Month?
Yeah.
Shit. Johnny and his boys are here, inmates. We got a lot of fucking problems.
Inspect those teeth.
Oh, prance, pony, prance. What the fuck? I don't know. I didn't stop at a gas station.
Right?
And it's just like, get these fucking people out of my house. Things just escalate from there. It's a full-on riot. People are just destroying her house, ripping drywall out, faucets, fixtures. People are now like stampeding each other, trying to get from one room to the next. People are getting trampled, all kinds of nastiness. From there, thank God the police show up, but that just kind of escalates the violence even further. Again, she's 9 months pregnant, on the point of giving birth, as all this shit happens. From there it goes from like a riot to a full-on war zone.
Yeah.
Because now there's like
They're in
a
riot gear.
yeah,
and-
there's like a full head-on clash in the dining room between the police force and the rioting faction, and we get like a Braveheart moment where they all kind of run at each other at full speed, which I would love to be a part of. That should have been on my bucket list, Cake Wolf. I want to be part of a Braveheart charge. But I don't want to be the guy in front. I want to be like 3 rows back.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the dude that's like, freedom! I want to be the guy that's like, yeah!
Yeah.
Let's get them, you fucking jerks!
I want to see it happen. I don't want to be a part of it.
No, I want to be a part of it, I just don't want to be in front.
Yeah, I'll be back here. I'll
Yeah.
wait. I'll
Hey.
wait.
Those guys,
You're doing great.
let's get them!
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring up the rear here.
Yeah.
You guys go ahead.
Oh, it's not looking too good. I'm gonna go that way.
I'm just gonna make sure that the back.
Yeah. Hurry up, get on my horse and get out of here.
All right, this didn't work out. All right, so that's pretty gnarly. And then, unfortunately, as I mentioned, she's 9 months pregnant, and things are like now. There's explosions. Kristen Wiig shows up. Apparently, she's the publicist. She starts executing people with a shotgun.
Yeah, that was brutal.
That was
Whoa.
weird. All of a sudden, she's got people with bags over their heads, blowing the fuck out of them with a 12 gauge.
Yeah. And
What?
you're the inspiration. Kill her
Yeah,
off too.
get her too, and 6 more. I'm gonna shoot them all. And then another explosion kills Kristen Wiig, and then things just get even worse from there. One of the police officers shows up. She's like, "Oh my God, we got a pregnant lady in here. We need a medic."
Finally, somebody noticed she was pregnant.
Yeah, and then his face explodes from a sniper round. Boom!
That was pretty cool.
That was gnarly.
Yeah.
About that time is when Javier Bardem finally shows back up. Jennifer Lawrence has gone on to full-on labor at this point. So he grabs her, takes her upstairs to a safe room. Now we have like weird refugee camps set up in different rooms, and people are begging for food and stuff. Go the fuck home. What are you doing here? See, that's the advantage to my sister-in-law. I just leave. I don't have to hang out. I can go. I'll go for a run. I'll pretend I have to go back to work. There's things I can do. Anyway,
No, I'm just gonna
oh, look at that! I got a fucking phone call here. I gotta move the fuck out of here. Anyway, so that's pretty gnarly. They get her upstairs. She has the baby. It's a little boy. That's great. And Javier Bardem's like, "Oh my God, I had a son. So beautiful, amazing." So about this time, she's like, "Dude, I just had a fucking kid. These animals have destroyed my house. Make them go away. How about that?" And we get a little argument between these two. He's like, I can't, where am I supposed to send them? And then eventually it breaks down to he doesn't want them to leave because he, I guess, is enjoying the adoration or the chaos or whatever you may have here.
Attention.
All of it. He wants it all, and it's beautiful. So eventually they open this door from the safe room, and now what's left of the house is just plastered with pictures of Javier Bardem all over the fucking place. He goes out there with the baby. The crowd like takes the baby and starts passing it around and chanting. And this poor fucking baby, dude, this is gnarly.
You see the baby pissing as a
Yeah,
kid?
the baby's pissing because it's obviously terrified. And then I'm not sure how it happens, but the baby's neck gets broken.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Yeah,
that's
the
pretty.
baby screaming, and all of a sudden,
And that is gnarly, and that is pretty graphic, and that is kind of hard to watch if you're a father. I'll be honest with you. Jennifer Lawrence sees it from like 3 rows back, and she's like, "My fucking baby!" She goes tearing through the crowd, gets to where the baby should be, and all she finds is a carcass that has been picked. And she looks around and sees everybody eating weird bits of meat and does the math herself. She's like, "You're eating my fucking baby, you assholes." So she picks up a pair of scissors and just starts shanking the fuck out of everybody, as she should.
yeah.
Starts with Stephen McCaddy. Apparently he's immune to scissors, though, because it doesn't seem to phase him. Stabs a few people in the face, a few other people. Eventually, these people decide they're sick of getting stabbed with scissors, so they take down Jennifer Lawrence, put a pretty graphic beating on her, and rip her shirt open. You do get to see her boobies, not in a hot way, in more of a
Here they are.
there they are. I would rather not see any of this, to be honest with you,
Right.
because she gets a pretty good beatdown. Now, there's something that I do appreciate about this scene. Normally, we've seen, especially just coming out of Rape Revenge Month, we've seen movies where women have been brutalized. But normally, the brutalization is quick, clean, and concise. And by the time it's done, the chicks are right back to being mascaraed and makeuped up.
Right.
Granted, with some tear tracks and a little, dirt smudge here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but I've definitely been in my share of fights. That's not what the aftermath of a fist fight looks like.
Right.
There's a lot of swelling. There's a lot of, discoloration and things like that. We got the full spectrum of it here on Jennifer Lawrence. It is nasty. She gets up. Javier Bardem eventually comes in and kind of breaks the crowd up and saves her for a second. And she's like, "What the fuck are you doing? They just killed an 8-hour baby." And he's like, "I know, but we need to find a way to forgive them, and we need to move past this, and they need our help, and all this horseshit." And she's like, "They ate our fucking baby, you asshole."
I actually thought he was going to say, "It's okay, we can have another." I was waiting for him to say that.
No, that's not.
I could have sworn he said that somewhere.
He might have, yeah.
Okay.
We can
So-
have another one.
Well, that's not really what I want to hear right now,
Right.
sweetheart. Yes, we can, but I'm not in the mood. I just had the shit
Yeah.
kicked out of me and watched my baby
Yeah,
get...
I'm leaving you after this.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence decides she's had about enough of all of this horse shit. She goes marching down to the basement through the false wall into that weird oil vat that is just hanging out there. Takes the scissors, stabs a great big hole in him, lights the whole place on fire, and kaboom! The whole place, basically everybody dies, including Jennifer Lawrence.
Inside, outside,
Inside,
land
outside.
around it.
It's like a nuclear thing going on there.
Yeah.
Javier Bardem, however, is fit as a fiddle during all this. He goes down, finds Jennifer Lawrence, picks her up. She's pretty burnt up
Burnt up, yeah.
and gnarly looking. He takes her upstairs. There's a lot of dialogue here that I felt like was supposed to explain things. It didn't, not for me anyway. He reaches right into her chest, pulls out her heart, which happens to be that crystal stuff, and puts that back on the mantelpiece, which restores the house completely, the area around it, and wakes up a brand new chick upstairs who is probably equally as hot or even hotter than Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the end of the movie. What did you guys think of Mother?
It's different. Very different.
Yeah, Monica?
I loved it.
So, I get that. What we didn't talk about is what this movie actually means.
Right.
If you read the IMDb trivia, you'll find out that what you just watched is the Bible. The Ed Harris and Michelle Pfeiffer, that's Adam and Eve. The two brothers are Cain and Abel. The crystal thing is the apple that Adam gave to Eve. She ate it, or in this case, broke it. And Javier Bardem is God. Jennifer Lawrence is Mother Nature, and the house is the earth. Now, my question to you, inmates, is would you have understood any of that if you hadn't read it on IMDb or if I hadn't just explained it? I suggest
Myself, no.
no. No.
No.
When
But-
I first watched it, I figured he was a god. And
Yeah,
it was,
yeah.
I
He was
figured-
something of that. Yeah.
Right, because the people
Not
kept-
God, not God, but just some
Right.
Not
type
the
of.
they
yeah,
referred
God.
to him as the poet.
right.
And then I didn't look it up or anything until yesterday. I finally Googled it. I was like, what is this movie about? And then after I read it and then remembered the movie, I was like, oh my God, this is so creative of the director himself.
I'll give it that.
Yeah.
I'll give it that. It is creative.
I didn't look any of this up, and so I watched it. I'm like, what the hell is this shit? I was so lost. And then coming here, and then we were talking about before we started the podcast. I'm like, oh fuck, I kind of want to watch it again.
Yeah, I do too. I'm really excited about
And I
this
actually
movie.
like it more now, knowing this factor.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would go that far. It's not a good. I mean, it's fine. For those of you that don't know, on our Patreon page, we have a very long debate between our own Cake Wolf and Jeff Hammer regarding the pluses and minuses of Mother. To me, this movie felt, I gotta be honest with you, it felt like masturbation. I felt like this was Aronofsky saying, here's my version of the Bible because the one that exists isn't good enough, so let me abstract the fuck out of it, put my own artsy-fartsy spin on it, and here you go. Jennifer Lawrence getting the shit kicked out of her while her boobies flop around.
See, I didn't get that all. After
No?
piecing it together and then realizing how awful human beings are, I'm like, man, I really love this movie.
What do you think, buddy?
I enjoy it now more than I originally did.
I think
So-
that once people watch it the second time after they learn what
It's about, yeah.
they will really enjoy it.
Yeah.
They'll see the connection and be like, oh, fuck, this is really good.
Yeah, it's one of those, you need to know what it's about before you watch it. If you just watch it and not know anything that it's about, you're like, what the fuck is this shit?
That might have been my problem, because I didn't read the IMDb
I
thing
didn't.
until after I watched
didn't
it.
either.
I don't know, man. I just feel like, dude,
Did they lay it on a little thick for you?
I mean, okay, so assuming I'm just Joe Schmo who goes to the movie theater, which I am, by the way, and puts my $20 down and says I want to see Mother.
If I saw this in the theater, I'd be pissed. Because I didn't know anything about it.
But that's my point exactly.
Yeah.
So
You have to know.
I don't know that its rewatch value is going to go up based on what I know now versus what I knew when I started it. You know what I'm saying? No? You
No.
follow me on that?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I would probably pay a little more attention to the different characters watching
Okay.
it the second time.
All right.
I knew you guys picked this because I hate Jennifer Lawrence, and so when I started watching
So
it,
hot.
I was like,
Yeah,
why
so
do I hate her? I don't even know why I hate her. But I think she did a really good job, and I really liked it.
That I will
Definitely.
say that the acting was rock solid in this all the way around. I would also say that special effects wise is pretty badass. I mean, at a certain point when the situation goes from we're about to have a nice quiet dinner to my house has been declared a fucking war zone in the case of less than 15 minutes. Okay, we're bordering on to absurd here. So artistic, metaphor notwithstanding, suspension of disbelief notwithstanding, I'm done because we've gone from a situation that I can relate to, a pregnant mother, to something that is beyond absurd. Where
Brilliant chaos.
sure,
Yes.
sure,
Yeah,
I'll buy that.
I agree with that.
Whatever you guys say, I don't know, man. I just could not. I couldn't get into it. I'll get. You know what? Give me a few months. I'll watch it again, and I'll report back. I'll put this on my movie homework list because, yeah, I never got around to watching Crimson Peak again either. So I should probably do that. No, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I told Troy I'd watch it again.
Oh, I liked it.
Crimson Peak?
Yeah.
No, no. You also like Mother, so there's that.
Oh my god, but you guys picked this for me to hate, and I ended
originally-
up really enjoying it.
Yeah, I originally did not like this movie. Like, coming here to do tonight's podcast, I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? I am pissed. This is just a terrible movie. And then realizing what all this about, I was like, oh, wow, well.
I know! Once the pieces fall for you, you're like, oh my god, I am so excited, I'm gonna watch this movie
Yeah.
again. Like, I couldn't wait to get to work this morning, to tell the ladies that watched it, because they didn't understand it either, and I was like, oh my god, I read about what this movie was, and they were like, oh, so now everybody's excited.
The baby scene, that is a hard part to
That's
get
a
through.
hard watch.
Yes.
That is
So,
a very hard
forewarned,
watch.
if you watch this, be prepared. That's a hard part to watch.
I mean,
I felt bad for
I'm
that
a little
baby.
shady on what the fuck actually happened to the baby because they're just passing it around and then all of a sudden,
They kill it and start. It's like
Eating
it's
it.
like communion.
Yeah.
Really?
get the fuck out of here.
Well,
with
their
that.
necks aren't very sturdy.
That's
That's
true.
why you
True.
have
Yeah.
to hold it. So I just think passing it around, it just snapped its neck,
Oh.
little neck.
Forget it. Forget the whole thing. All right, inmates, we are going to take a little break and come back with some other stuff.
And hit us up right now. You got any questions? We'll take a couple minutes.
Yeah.
What do you got for us? How are we looking on YouTube? Anybody say anything?
Mhm.
Little question and answer period.
Let's do it. Oh my God.
Yeah,
It's getting hot in here.
that's
inmates.
because of the
I'm
temperature.
with Buddy. I want to watch it again because I didn't totally understand it.
Who said
Who's this?
that?
Gene.
Gene
Yeah.
Assuming,
Turner?
yeah, assuming that you know of anything about the Bible, it was better than the Psycho family encroaching on the house. The baby is Jesus dying for the sins of the people.
Of course.
Oh, that's
Oh,
pretty
okay.
awesome.
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
The I don't know if you caught this, inmates, but the wound on Ed Harris's side was actually from the rib that was removed to make Eve, who would be
right.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty
So
awesome.
there's that.
That dirty skank.
Okay, well,
Wow.
how about this? If we're gonna do a Bible story, can we get Satan involved?
Yeah, let's
Where's
bring him
Satan?
in.
Where's Satan?
Well,
Is that the oil tanker?
I don't know.
that's Michael King. We got to bring him in.
Let's get Michael King involved.
Yeah. Let's give him a call right now.
Any other comments, kid? Steven's in the house. Auntie Monica has been in more than one fist fight. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
You're right, Gene. She has been in some fist fights. I'm with Buddy. Does Darian always wear a vest, or is it just for the show tonight?
He does wear a lot of vests.
Our,
Look at him. He looks like $1 million.
our specials this evening are a braised beef, short rib. We also have a lobster bisque soup.
You're missing your little.
I know I need a
Towel.
towel. Huh?
Yeah, right.
All right, inmates. I think we are going to kill the live feed.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for joining us. We may or may not be doing this next week. What is our movie for next week? The Wall, right?
Yes, the
Wall.
The
wall.
Wall,
Oh,
starring Matt Damon.
Which I have not seen yet.
I have not either.
Oh,
Okay.
you might as well commit suicide.
Oh, come on now.
Oh, wow.
Come on now.
Okay, I'm just saying.
So angry at Matt Damon. Thank you very much for joining us, inmates. We will see you next week. Tune into the regular Padded Room podcast. You'll hear everything you just heard, plus the regular Terror Dome and all that crap. And we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Boom.